Hey everyone, this is Farmer Haney. Today we're gonna build a Carpenter V-trap. All you need for this project is a scrap piece of 4x4. This is roughly, I don't know, maybe 7-8 inches. It's probably too big, so we're gonna have to cut it in half. I mean, you can use it, but I can make two out of this one really. A mason jar, some drill bits, a couple wood screws, like an inch maybe, 3/4, inch and a quarter, and then a fence staple. So let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna need for this is to cut this piece of 4x4. I mean, you can use table saw, you can use anything really, but in this case I'm gonna use this, so kind of guesstimate on halfway through. Make sure you don't cut your finger. And the back is dead, I think. Doesn't have to be pretty. I mean, I could have used my circular saw too, but this one already had the battery on it, so. Okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. At least you need one side that's kind of flat. But the rest doesn't have to be. So I have two pieces. I can make two of these. So I'm done with this for now. So the next thing is we need a drill bit. I don't know, I have 1/2 inch here. Might be a little bit too big. Maybe I'll try the 3/8. Alrighty, so here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna need to drill a hole at the bottom, just going up straight, not all the way through, but maybe halfway through this. So I don't know, let's say if this is 4 inches, so maybe 2 inches deep. Doesn't have to be precise, but just drill it right in the middle. And really, this one, I might use the 1/2 inch bit on this, and I'll explain in a little bit why, but alrighty, good enough. Alrighty, I'm gonna go back to my 3/8 bit. And then once we're done building this, I'll explain how this whole concept works, why it works. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this. So we already drilled a hole at the bottom. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill a hole, but it's gonna be angled at a, I don't know, 30-degree angle going upwards. But we're gonna try to hit that hole in the middle. So then we'll drill through the side. We'll start straight down, and then as soon as we hit the wood, we kind of angle it 30-degree upwards, and then try to hit this hole that we had here. So then the concept is the bee will come in through the side hole, and we're going to do one on each of the 4 sides, but it'll come in through the side hole, goes up, and then it kind of opens up to this one, so it can kind of come down to this one, and then we'll have the mason jar here. And then once it's in the mason jar, it can't go back up because we have this one angled up, it can't see the light through here, so it doesn't know that this is an exit. Let me see. Yeah, let's try it. So you kind of want to start kind of close to you want to make sure you're right above the line here, right? So if you do it here, it's going to be hard to meet up, right? So you do it right above the hole that you drilled. You start straight perpendicular just for a little bit, and then you angle it up. and then you can kind of feel it once you hit the opening. You kind of feel it it becomes very easy to drill through. Alrighty, well, that one works. So you can see this hole is going up at, I don't know if it's like really 30, but roughly. But it does meet up with the one that we already have here. So we got to do the same thing on the 3 other sides. So you kind of start drilling right above the hole to make sure you kind of gonna be able to tap into the tunnel. You start down and then you angle it up, and then doing that just makes it easier, like the bit won't move on you really. Okay, so it kind of gave in a little bit. That means we actually hit the tunnel. When we're done, we want to clean up all the loose pieces of wood in here. We want to make it pretty comfortable for the bees to come in. Okay, so we have two more to go. Again, they're perpendicular going. Once you get a bite, then you angle it up. Okay. And also, if you're doing, you can kind of feel when you meet that tunnel. It just becomes a lot easier to grow, basically. Okay. And then last one on this side, again, perpendicular initially, and then angle it up. Should have probably done it a little bit higher on this, but it's alright. Okay, so we have 3 holes going up. I guess 4 on the side and then 1 in the middle. And then at this point, just like clean up the inside of it so there's no obstacles for the bee whenever it's going in. You know, these bees, they're a little bit lazy. They don't want to have to keep digging new tunnels. They actually, even though they don't live kind of in a colony, these carpenter bees, but they kind of live in packs in the same area. And from just doing research on these bees, I didn't know that, but it seems as if the female bees are the hard workers. So they're the ones that actually drill these tunnels. So they're the destructive ones. And then they go and then they put their, I guess, the bee larvae in there for next season. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this mason jar, and then we're going to drill a hole in the middle of the lid, big enough to the hole that it's actually kind of, it doesn't overlap this hole in the middle, and then we'll nail it on there. So I went back to my 1/2 inch drill bit, and then in the middle, so I got my hole. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. So what I do is I don't have on hand like a bigger drill bit than this one, so I'll just put it in and kind of like rotate my drill bit so it kind of cuts through this. And kind of be careful because this is actually sharp. But you hold it and it kind of, as you're drilling, take, I like to clean up these, just watch your fingers again, but so, take this piece, put it back in the piece that screws on, and then put it on top of the piece of wood where the hole is at the bottom, and then make sure it's not covering the hole. And then so you get your wood screws, and then what you want to do is you want to try to screw it, but make sure you're not screwing over the tunnel that you dug. So the tunnels are in the middle of each of this, so on each side. So you kind of want to drill it kind of close to the corners. Okay, there's one. I mean, one usually is probably good, but alrighty, so this is this part done. So the whole tunnel is clear, and then at this point you can put the mason jar back on and then screw it. And this last piece is, I have a fence staple here, so I just take it and then you staple it on the top, and then you just kind of nail it. And then you just hang it, really. So now there's 3 different places, well, I guess 4, but depending where you're gonna hang it. If you're hanging it against something like in the back, so now you have 3 accessible holes they can go through, and then go down, and then they'll go into the mason jar. They can see the light through the glass, so they're like, oh, we can exit this way, but they really can't, they're stuck. They look up, they can't see the light because these are, angled at a 30 or whatever degree, and then the one at the bottom is like straight up, so it doesn't show the light. So they'll go in there and they get stuck, and then they die. And then the trick is to actually, you don't want to clean this up. Like if they go in there and then they die, keep them in there, because I guess they smell each other, and that's how they get enticed to really come in. And then I'll post a picture of, I built one less than a week ago. So I built one similar to this one about maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I hung it by our barn, and there's probably over a dozen already in it. So it does actually work, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, well, this is our video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just feel free to post them in the comments, and hopefully we'll do another video soon. Thank you.